Hey guys, welcome to DevOps School. Kubernetes is one of the most popular technology in cloud computing as of today. Learning Kubernetes is essential for any DevOps professional, and one of the most in-demand certification is Kubernetes administration. In this session and in this series, we are going to learn various aspects of Kubernetes administration, which will help you to prepare for the Certified Kubernetes Administration exam or CK exam. This series is divided into 20 parts, therefore subscribe to our channel and follow the playlist for complete understanding.
But before that, let me ask you a few things. Are you dreaming of a career with higher pay and more responsibilities? Or are you ready to take your skills to the next level this year? Then start investing in DevOps School certification level courses, which will help you to emerge skills for a wide range of entry level roles and as well as higher potential future positions. But with thousands of courses online and in classroom worldwide, finding the right one for your career goals can be difficult. You can consider our courses like Agile Developer, Agile QA, DevOps Certified Professionals, Site Reliability Engineering, DevSecOps, and Masters in DevOps Engineering, where you will have access to well-structured, easy-to-follow course content that has been developed and will be delivered by industry professionals. You can join on our training programs globally through online platforms, and if you are looking for classroom workshops, then we have regular sessions available in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Mumbai, and in Pune. Simply compare our many courses, find the one that suits your style and schedule best, and start today.
Okay, so first thing, we have a three components in Kubernetes. Okay, major components. One is master, one is worker, and third one I forgot actually. Can you help me? Third one, what is that?
Client
Kube control.
kubectl.
What do we call it?
Client
Workstation.
Yeah, workstation. Thanks for that. Okay, guys. So master, worker, workstation. Now master, I remember, has a 4 components, but which are those I don't know. Can you help me?
API server,
API server,
Okay,
Scheduler.
second one.
Scheduler.
No.
etc
No, no.
database,
etcd,
Yeah.
NoSQL database,
Obviously. And third one,
controller
services,
manager,
control managers,
controller manager. Yes, wonderful. And last
scheduler.
one,
scheduler.
Scheduler.
check. Okay. Now this is the wonderful thing. Now worker, I know there are 3 components. Which are those?
Kubelet.
Pods,
Kubelet,
Kubelet.
well, yeah. Kubelet, kube proxy,
And kube
container,
proxy.
proper any containerized
and engine.
Yeah,
container.
container.
Container region.
Yeah, good. Guys, this is the stuff. Now this is the kubelet, this is the kube proxy, this is the Docker engine, and some of the things I have not discussed in the discussion. Why I did not discuss? Because you should not get confused. But now I think you have understood the component of master and worker, so I should tell you. One is like core DNS. Don't worry, I will discuss about the core DNS in later, but let's introduce this one now itself. And then here we call it one thing, what we call it Kubernetes Networking Interface, CNI.
CNI.
Yeah, CNI driver. Okay, so this is the one, and CNI is in worker also. Now, what is the core DNS? What is a CNI driver? I'll explain it to you. No need to worry, just to have it complete list of it. So these are the things. Now these are the things. Now see guys, each component, what are the jobs which is doing, which you know very well. I'm not going to spend time on it, you know it very well. But here you think about it, API server is a application. etcd is also application. Controller manager is also application. Scheduler is also application. Core DNS is also application. CNI driver is also application. Here kubelet is not application, is an agent. Okay, here agent, it's a software need to be installed, it's not an application. Kubeproxy, this is also sort of daemon, agent need to be there, something like a daemon. And if you are a part of Docker, then you know that Docker engine has a 3 component, in fact 5 component. Let me tell you, it has a client, it has a daemon, it has a container D, it has a run C, and all this thing is not application, it's like an agent running in the system. Okay, and CNI driver is applications. Now workstation is the one guy who's left out. Let me complete this one also. Here we have a kubelet, oh sorry, kubectl.
kubectl.
Yeah, so guys, this is the stuff. Now let me tell you here, let me ask you, not tell you, when you want to run application in Kubernetes ask you to run application in what? Tell me. Kubernetes ask you to run application in what?
Pods.
Yes. So Kubernetes asks you to run application inside a pod. So guys, if Kubernetes asks you to run their application inside a pod, they should have a courtesy to run their own application also in the pod, correct? Na? Because
Yeah.
they should first apply the logic before with on themselves only, and then they should ask you. So yes, why can't they run their own application in the pod? So these all are applications. So here, yes, they are running in the pod. 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 Yes, so these are pod. These are the pod. These are the pod. Not this one, not this one. Okay, these all are pod. Now you are tell me one thing. I forgot this statement. Who schedule a pod?
Scheduler.
The scheduler.
Scheduler.
And who instantiate a pod?
Kubelet.
Kubelet.
Right, yes. So guys, think about it. These all are pods in master. So how these pods can be instantiated without a?
Kubelet.
Kubelet.
Yes. So that means in the master you should be having kubelet also, correct now?
Yeah.
Right. Now inside a pod you have what? Container. Very well you know that, right? Very well you know that. Very well you know that. So inside a pod you have a container, and who creates a container? Docker
It's
engine.
the Docker engine.
Docker engine.
Yeah,
The
in the
container engine.
master, in the master you should be having Docker engine also. Okay, so now you see here, and each pod get a IP address, right? So who allocate those IP addresses?
Kubeproxy.
Kubeproxy, yes. So guys, yes, this is the, this should be there, this component should be there in the master also. Are you getting the logic?
Yeah. You.
Yes.
It makes so much
Yeah.
sense. This is the question I asked
Yeah.
in the last session. That
Yeah.
if these are all apps, they should run in pods and master as well. Yeah, that's correct.
Right. Yeah. So now guys, yes, containers come from where? Containers come from where? When we get the container?
Images. From images.
Ah, yes. We run image, we get a container. Images we get from where?
Docker registry.
Docker file.
registry or hub.
Docker registry and Docker registry. And guys, here we are using Google Cloud Registry. So in this case, in Kubernetes, because Kubernetes was a Google products, so we are having the source code, images and all everything on the Google registry. If you have a Gmail ID, you can access it using that Google registry. These are the open source project. So guys, did you understand now? This is the real architecture. Now I know that CNI have not explained. I don't want to complicate. DNS I have not explained. I don't want to complicate, but we have a lots of discussion pending. We will do that. But this is the last component table which master has and what worker has. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, guys. Now the question is very simple. How to create Kubernetes cluster? Very simple question. But now that is okay. If you want to understand how to create Kubernetes cluster, before that you should know what are the steps involved in the setting up the Kubernetes cluster. So I'm just talking about the master. Okay, understand this. First thing what you have to do, first thing you have to install Kubelet. Step 1. Just keep understanding. It's not a very big thing to understand. Docker, then Kubelet is there, Docker is there. What is required after that? You required images of, I'm not going to write all this name, but you know that all these components,
Don't we need the Docker client side as well?
What is that?
So Docker has
Docker,
the
when
two
I say
parts.
Docker engine comes together everything. So here Docker D, when I say, that means you cannot, what I'm trying to tell you here is you cannot run inside a pod and container, because if you run inside a pod and container, who will run those containers? Docker engine has to be on the machine itself, right?
Yes,
That's
yes.
what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. Yeah, so images of all components, and when I say components, all these are components, and this one. So images download. So step number 1, step number 2, okay, step number 3, and then after that you have to download pre tools for Kubernetes cluster. Okay, that's pre-tools means all the CNI tools. Many other tools are required actually. Not, you don't need to know for that purpose. Okay, many other tools which you need to know. Now Docker is and Kubelet, other things is okay. Now run image, sorry, create a pod, create all pod, create all pods. So here in the master you have to create all the pods. So when you create all the pods, then of course you have to create all the containers also inside this. Right now assign IP addresses to all pods, here not containers. Okay, then setting up certificates, this is important, certificates and token to each pods container. Now this is a big work actually, I must tell you. Now remember, in this MS Paint here, REST API, how can you communicate with REST API? This is the REST API. How can you communicate? This is the REST API. Oh, sorry. This is the API. I answered my question. Stupid thing. So I answered my question actually. API server. How can you connect, communicate?
Well, there should be an
REST
interface.
API.
REST API.
REST API, yeah.
Yeah. So here this, all these things communicate through REST API. So this should be authenticated, right? Not everyone can connect to REST APIs. Remember, anyone who can connect with the REST APIs, he can pass the information to the etcd. So everyone here, API server, so everyone can communicate here with the REST APIs. So now the question is, if REST APIs can communicate, they should be having certain certificates, token, and so to make sure that the right request has come, right output has gone. So those are the things. So this is a huge work actually, blocking certain ports and in ports specifications. So many things are there in this. Like you have to let's say API server 6443. These are the ports which open up. So all these things you have to do that. So a lot of work you have to do that in order to set up a Kubernetes cluster.
Rajesh,
Okay.
is that port specification or a port specification?
Ports, it should be ports. Sorry, thanks for that. Yeah, so it should be port specification for each of the pods, for each of the services, like which should be blocked, which should not be blocked, all this stuff. Now lots of work is there to set up a cluster. Lots of work is. Now, do you want to do this work? That is a question. If you want to do each of these work one by one, step by step, this is called hard way. Okay, hard way. Okay, hard way. And hard way means hard way. So you go here, hard way and Kubernetes. This guy has spent hell lot of time you writing steps so you can set up a hardware. This guy is working in Google. This guy, Kel saying high tower. Okay, so he has spent a lot of time writing this repository, and so you can set up a hardware. Everything is here. Everything is here. Okay, so you can set it up. You follow all this stuff one by one. Many things are there. Many scripts are there, and you have to learn this. Who's going to do that? So yes, you have to do yourself by following this one. Now I am feeling lazy. I should get some sort of magic tool which should do that for me, because I am not going to do that. So in that case, if I have expectations to get a magic tool to set up a cluster, then in that case I should go for one tool which is called KubeADM. This tool, KubeADM, we call it manual way to set up a cluster. Guys, are you getting it? So
Yeah.
which is the utility? This all work which I try to help you out here will be done by whom? Not me, this guy, but manual way. Okay, so this is the second method in which you can set up a cluster, KubeADM. Now, so in that logic, let me tell you, manual way to set up a cluster, master. When I say cluster, that means master and worker. Understand that. So here in that logic, if I go, then guys, let's add one more guy here. KubeADM stand for Kubernetes Administrator. Okay, so you need to have a KubeADM in every node of your cluster, no matter whether it's in a master or whether it's a worker. So KubeADM. Now guys, this is the stuff. But now, you know, many lazy people are there. Okay, so one guy said, dev guy, listen, I do not have too many boxes like worker you're talking about, master you're talking about, you know, those stuff. So I have one VM, simple one VM. Can I get one cluster, one Kubernetes cluster? Can I get it? Answer is yes. Is it possible? You have a one VM, and in that VM itself you can set up a cluster. Is it possible?
Yeah, it should be possible. Why not?
Yeah, see here. whatever do you have in worker, you have in the master already. So can't you set up a one node, one worker cluster, one worker cluster, one master and one worker, nothing else. One master plus one worker, and that is one VM. Can we have it? Yes, we can have it. All the components you run in the one VM, it will become a one VM cluster, one workstation cluster, one worker cluster, one node cluster. Simple. Now the question is, who will do that for me? Again, who
kubectl.
will? No. This will not help you. So this is the manual way to set up a cluster. Okay. So who will do that for you?
Minikube.
Then, yes. All this work and this work also, manual way. This work and this work will be done by one tool which is called Minikube. So Minikube is a utility. The moment you fire Minikube start, then it will create one virtual machine, and in the virtual machine entire component will be set up. It takes some time, one time, but it will set up.
So Raj,
Understand that? Huh?
Raj, is the Minikube is kind of a Docker compose, and it will marry together bunch of Docker containers and the networking, everything set up and boot it up in the VM. Is it something like that?
No, see, to be honest, I have not got into the Minikube source code,
Oh, okay, that's
so I
fine.
cannot say. But if you have a curiosity, you can read the Minikube source code, which is in public actually. So just a second, I'll show you that. GitHub. It's here. This is the Minikube source code. You can read that, go through that.
Rajesh, one more thing.
Yeah.
We're
I
going for
don't.
the cluster configuration parts. Then before that, we not discuss the services and the storage things. Right?
No problem. I said to begin with, I'm not running the PPT today. I'll do that next session. I skipped it. I told you, right? You joined late.
No, I think I disconnected the internet. That's
Okay.
no problem.
Yeah. I'll have a slide because every day is like a slide. Is like boring work. Okay. So guys, I was saying something and I forgot. Yes, I was talking about that Minikube, and Minikube is so Minikube is Minikube is a executable. It's like an application, and the moment you ask Minikube, it's like a exe. In a Linux also you can run, Windows also you can run, Mac also you can run. So it's a application. The moment you run application, this guy only will download, create one VM, and do all of this stuff. All of this stuff. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to. Okay. So this is the one node cluster, one VM, one node cluster, whatever it is. So guys, this is the dev. Now, when you say you are become operations, okay, then when you want to become operation, then you want to set up a production ready cluster, and say production ready cluster. Okay, in the production ready clustered, you should be having the load balancers, cloud integrations, high availability. Remember high availability, understand that the meaning of it. HA, multiple node clusters. If one node is going down, second node is coming up automatically. If all this stuff, so that cannot be possible with the Kubernetes. Remember, if one pod is going down, then pod will be replaced. But if node is going down, then nodes has to replace with the help of the cloud only. So Kubernetes has to discuss with the cloud only, connect with the cloud only. So when you want to set up operations, cloud ready, production clusters and stuff like that, then what we use? Then people use one tool which is a lot, and that we call it COPS. What we call it? A COPS. So again, guys, all these are open source product. Nothing is in hidden stuff like that. You can go and learn about it. COPS. Here it is. This is a COPS. Okay, COPS will communicate with AWS, Google Cloud, and VMware, and in fact Azure only. I have no idea update actually. I'm not using from last 1 year COPS. Let me read it. So AWS, GC, OpenStack, VMware. So Azure has not come so far. Yeah. So they should come, but it's not. So these are the platform it supports. So when you want to set up a production ready clusters, then you can use COPS, COPS, COPS to set up cluster. Okay. Now this is the second way. So Minikube is done, COPS is done, hard way is also done, manual way is done. So four way I taught you here: hard way, manual way, Minikube, COPS. Now you know one thing. Many people say, boss, I want to focus on code. I want to focus on the quality. I want to focus on all these applications, writing things. I do not want to take up a burden of managing a master and node. I don't want any administration work. I don't want to start, create, manage, HA, set up 3 masters, all these things, lots of work. You are getting a point. So you don't want to manage at all. You don't want to manage administration responsibility. You are a startup maybe. So when you do not want to have the Kubernetes cluster maintenance work, administration work, high availability work, scalability work, then what you have to do? Outsource this one. To where? To the cloud. So which are the cloud? Then we have a AWS major cloud, Azure, and then Google. These are the major cloud. This is Alibaba also, which is coming up very fast. I have not used it. I have to spend few days for that before getting into that. So yes, AWS offer one of the platform as a service, and that is called EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service, EKS. That means you do not have to set up a cluster at all. You do not have to take care of HA at all. You don't have to take care of this availability of EKS cluster at all. You don't have to take care of the load if you're having huge load to take care of the cluster at all. Nothing. You just go and create it. It's just a matter of few minutes. Let's say 2 to 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and your cluster is ready. It's like this. So EKS we call it. In Azure we call it AKS, and in a GC Google Cloud we call it G Google Kubernetes Engine. So guys, these are the services. Let me give you the little bit of glance of it. This is the managed Kubernetes services. Managed Kubernetes services.
So Raj,
Rajesh,
if you,
there's another AWS utility has come out, which is called AWS Fargate. Thus, even
That has a EKS component and something else also in that EKS.
yeah, they've actually added another layer on EKS, and that makes your life so easy. The Fargate. I've not gone into it. I've just read the introduction, so I just wanted to mention it here.
Yeah, Fargate. Here you can add it, but primary one is for the Kubernetes here. Fargate has many other components also, but for the Kubernetes, I'm talking about EKS. Okay, so these are the player for this. Now the question is, this is like a too much automation, and this way we will not be able to run that administration work. And remember, you are planning to have a CKA, Kubernetes certified Kubernetes administrator. In that case, you have to do that your cluster creation, maintenance yourself only. So in that case, in our training, in this training, we will go through this option: manual way to set up a Kubernetes cluster, master worker Kubernetes, manual way. Okay, now this let me tell you here, guys, this is not the end of the list. If you think, okay, this is the maximum option, no, 40 different ways, 40 different ways are to set up a cluster, and with the different features also. Okay, manual, ultimately you get clusters, but many ways are there. So whichever the way which is supported, that's there in the on their official website. Is there, so you can just check it out. Here it is, production environment. Kubernetes partners. Not this. They changed the URL actually. So they changed the URL, so I cannot give you one URL. Earlier they were having multiple URL, but it's like this. You see here, turn cloud solution. These are the options. On premises, these are the option. Windows, here it is, and there are few here also. Okay, so it's like this. Earlier they were having one page, so it's easy to discuss, but they have converted into the multiple page. Okay, so no problem. So this is the and learning environment here, Minikube. See here. So in this page you get all of which, so you can check it out. Okay, now any questions so far?
No, it's fine, Rajesh.
So Raj,
Okay, guys. So
can we set up the whole cluster of Kubernetes on the OpenStack?
yes, why not?
Okay.
OpenStack is equal to what? AWS. The only thing is like AWS is publicly available, anyone can access it. OpenStack only can be accessible by your organization employees whom you allow.
And I assume, because you said the base Docker images will come from Google registry, but they can be imported and into the in-house Docker registry and imported from them, I believe. That
Yeah,
should be trivial.
images can be stored anywhere as long as
Yeah.
that is accessible. I don't care.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
Okay, so guys, this is the introduction about this stuff, cluster stuff. Now let me share with you the demo. I'll just set up a cluster and then I will show you that. Now the question is how can I set up a cluster? So here now you need to little bit of understanding the system requirement. So I'm not going to deep dive into that because there are too many requirements. I don't want to get lost initially itself in a complexity. Slowly it will come automatically. That's a part of the work anyways. But if you look at this here, it's a Ubuntu 16.0 plus, Debian 9 plus, CentOS 7, RHEL 7, Fedora 25 plus. What is this? I have never used. Container Linux, and minimum you have a 2 GB RAM, 2 CPU minimum, some full network connectivity, MAC address, and all this stuff. These are the adapters. This is the IP port number I was talking about, right? Remember here. Here I set some port specification. So these are the ports for the Kubernetes. These are the port. This for API, this for etcd, dub. You have all the tables actually. So
These are default ports, right, Rajesh?
yes, these are the default ports. Most of the time you don't play with the ports because there's so many things you don't get time to change the port actually. So yeah, let's go for the defaults actually. So
All
yeah,
right.
and if you want to customize, that means you have to become a kind of hardware guys. You have to do each and everything, smallest to smallest thing. You'll have to set it up your own, and then ultimately your manager will ask, okay, when you are setting up the server, it should be ready in 2 hours. Others will outsource this work to EKS. So production ready. So yep, these are the worker notes, port specifications. You can read it, and all this thing you just go through this. These are the
We are
important
going to
locations.
cover that EK stuff, right, Rajesh?
No. We are as part of this only CK. Anything which is a EKS, that's what I said. EKS is not a part of CK. This is the one which is a part of CK. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I
No
think
cloud.
if we can do the Kubernetes thing the manual way, then EKS or the other utilities, they'll just
Yeah.
become a child's play for us.
No, it's not difficult. You just you can create in 2 minutes, just 5 clicks and you're done.
Yeah, that's what I was
EKS is
saying, guys.
completely provided by Amazon, so you have all the
Yeah.
templates and everything available.
Yeah.
It just
Nothing you
that
have to
there are
do that.
slight things
Nothing.
which the process which we follow in AWS, right? So in order to access from your local machine and all, that only you have to take care. That's it.
Yeah. You have a cluster ready, production ready, cluster ready, highly available, never be down. Okay. Everything they have set it up for you. Just start using it. Forget about rest of the things. You should not ask the questions like, can I access the master? Because this is the EKS, that means platform as a service. They will not allow you to access the master, but service will be available at any given point of the time. Getting what?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I was talking about, yeah. So these are some of the libraries and locations and all there. You should read it. You will be very comfortable and stuff like that. So now can I go ahead with the setup a cluster? So let me go
Yeah.
and get a machine. So just it's not very difficult, to be honest. Nothing is difficult if you have a right start. And I'll go for RHEL 7.5.
On the same, I just got this question when you said 7.5, right? So uh, does it matter like the version of the OS is, right? It must be like uh, same among all the worker and master
No, any Linux,
packages.
but it should be a part of this list, which I showed you just before that. I don't know where it is. Here it
I mean,
was.
version mismatch could be fine, right?
No, uh, you are talking about the Kubernetes version or
I'm
operating system
no,
version?
no, no, no. OS version like patches, like one is
No,
on the other
no,
patch,
no
and
problem.
other machine is on some other patch, right? So
No problem. This is plus means anything which is a minimum, it's okay. Minimum plus. Okay.
all right, okay.
So they have specifically mentioned, right? So we should trust them. Okay, so I'll go for 2 CPU, 4 GB RAM. This is the one. One machine is okay for now, and 30 GB hard disk is okay for now. And this is a KX cluster master and default. And be mindful about it. So worst practice, I'm doing it. That's where that if you do that EKS and all, it will do everything best practices. That means they will not open up those ports. But because we are learning, we need these ports to be open. Otherwise, you get stuck in every moment. I don't want it. So I'm open up at every port, but you have to be mindful about it. Okay, so I got the machine here. So this is the machine for the masters. That's all. Now what I'm going to do in this master, look at the logic. What are the things you needed? You need a Kubedium. You need a kubelet. These are the tools needed. Remember, pod will come after that. Docker daemon and kubectl also, which is a part of the workstation, but you need it. Okay, so these are the 4 utility. Now the question is, I have to install before that all this stuff. So can I do that? So let's get started. So here, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log in it. So I have a keys actually, remember, don't have a password. And Rajesh Mumbai and stuff like that. Yes. Colors, appearance, and 16. Click apply. EC2-user and one thing actually, I have a very bad habit. I will become a root, so that way none of my programs will have a failure because I don't give the sudo. So this is the one. Now I become a root. I'm going to install Docker Engine. Now the question is how to install Docker Engine. You know it very well if you have gone through the. So this is the URL I'm sharing in the chat also. I mean the notes also. Here it is. Okay. So now I'm following this tutorial blindly. This is to remove. This is to install. Let's start from here. Okay. Cool, calm, nothing to do extra. Stick to your goal right now.
What is this device mapper persistent data?
Okay, so just a second, I'll tell you this. If you look at this here, if you install this one, device mapper is a, where is that? Device mapper persistent data is a storage driver. Storage driver, basically there are so many storage drivers are there. For example, device mapper is there, overlay, not overlay, device mapper 2 is there, a ops is there. You might have seen that in Windows FAT and NTFS is there. So like that. And one more thing, I'm not able to recollect that.
If you tell me the Google words, I'll just read in my own time.
These are the storage driver actually.
Well, okay,
Just
I'll read through. Yeah, thank you.
just a second, hold on. Overlay, overlay. See, overlay is there. Overlay 2 is there. Device mapper is there.
Yeah.
FAT is there. NTFS. So what is this? So these are the storage driver in each operating system. How this data should be stored, that decides. For example, in Windows, you might have worked with the FAT and NTFS, right?
Yeah.
ext4 in Linux, you might have worked with it. Nowadays, we are using our device mapper or overlay 2 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So these are the, I did which command? I did only one. So here I am going to download the repository. Then rest of the things. Then installing the community version of Docker. Now guys, Docker got installed. I'm going to check the version of it.
So conceptually, I can use something, any other automation tool like Packer to build my golden master image as well.
Yeah, why not? Or Packer you can use, Ansible you can use.
Yeah.
You can do
Okay.
whatever. If you're on AWS, AMIs you can use. Create AMIs and then use it, reuse it. It's up to you. This automation is in your mind actually. It should come. So so there, that is, you can do that. I enable the Docker and then start the Docker here and Docker info. So if I confirm this, here it is. Now let me show you, when you do the Docker info, then here this is the storage driver. So right now overlay 2 is being used here. Okay. So now this is done. So now next thing is how can I get it done this one? So yes, you can go to the official documentation or my blog if you follow, because I have just same I've taken from there only, but I put it up in the way I want it, in a short way. So Cubadium, here it is. So you can follow this tutorial. I'm putting them in the note actually. So this will do rest of the things actually. Okay, so let me do that. Again, here you have lots of reading here. What if why we need a, what is a goal, what is a Kubedium, what are the prerequisite, all this stuff you should read. Change the host name. So but right now, why I'm not changing host name? Because I know that AWS gives the host name unique all the time, so I'm not interested. But if you're using virtual machines and all, you can do that. And stopping the firewall and all, anyways I did it through security groups in AWS. So here if you're doing the virtual machines and all, you can do that. This is also needed, but I know that this swapping disable should be disabled. But I know that AWS by default they do that for us. So this is on AWS anyways is there. Okay, so finally start with the this step. So I'm not doing this 1 2 3 4. Why? Because I know that AWS is not required with these steps. Okay, so I'm heading directly to the fifth step. So guys, here copy paste. This is the updating the repository done. Finally, set info set to 0. This is again same line, but to get assurance of set the permissive level 0. And then finally you look this here. Look at this here.
Rajesh, why
Install.
are we disabling SE Linux here, like when set infos 0? I mean, can we not provide the context of it to
Yes.
your cluster?
Yes, you can. So why we are disabling that, you can read this article. I'll leave it for you to reference. And where is that? Here it is. So it's I'll just put it up here. SE Linux and container relations. So you can study a little bit later on this. Okay.
Okay.
So now I was doing something, and yes, I was doing installing. So guys, look at this here. Install Kubelet, Kubedium, kubectl, all this together in one go. You see here, I need all these tools, right? So in one go. So can I do that? Yes, yes. Enter. So yum install will be doing all the stuff, because repository I have added before that, so it will get installed, no problem. Done guys. And then here so here I did so far, I did. And now remember the story of minions gets up and look for what? Master. So yes, kubelet has to gets up. Kubelet is your agent minion. You have to keep on running. If kubelet is not running, that's a problem. So I will enable the kubelet here. Done. This is worked. Now the question is, who will do that? Again, the question is back to the things, who will do this, all this stuff? I said Kubedium. How? Manual way. So which command will do that? Look at this command. Okay, please read this. Kubedium init will set up your cluster. Again, I'm reminding you, Kubedium init will set up your cluster. Now set up your cluster, that means master, not worker, because in the master anyways one worker is there. I told you as part of the architecture already we discussed. So init will set up a one master node in which worker will be also running, all worker component also will be running. Okay, but init you should use it only once. Are you getting more points?
Yeah.
Now you must be wondering why I'm adding these extra things. So I know that my VM is not production ready. So what is happening? Kubedium has a lots of pre-flight check to make sure that all the prerequisites match here, there, and all kind of things. But I know that my requirement, my VMs is not perfectly matching with all of their pre-flight check. Okay, so what I do typically, I just ignore all the pre-flight checks and move on. But yes, if you have a production ready machines, very good configurations, everything as it is, then you can only run Cubadium in it. But right now, this one. So avoid issues. And guys, and you know one thing, if you want to really understand what exactly init is doing, please read each line, copy this line to the notepad, and please read each line of it, understand it. Same thing what I told you at the high level, this one here you will see that. Look at this, what is they're downloading the images actually. Done. And you see generating a certificates and sharing the certificates, certificate work, authentication related APIs and all stuff like that. Each line you must read it. Kubelet, look for the master in a kubelet.conf. Here it is. That's all. Your Kubernetes, just read this line. The Kubernetes control panel has initialized successfully. And one most important thing, this one, you have to keep a copy of it. This one, you have to keep a copy of it, store it in a safe zone, and after that, it's not like keeping a copy and store it. You have to follow it. What is this? To start using cluster, 3 things are there. So again, this I will explain you in the next session when I will set up a worker machine, workstation machine, and everything. So till here we will have it, and I'll wrap it up. So any questions anyone has? Your cluster is set up now. So next sessions onwards, I will use the same cluster. This one. Any questions, any doubts, any complexities?
When we do this ourselves, I think complexities will come at that time. But for time being, it looks good. It looks good. When we going to appear in the exam itself, definitely we will not have access to the notes or other stuff, so we will have to remember these commands somehow. Am I right?
No, it's an open book exam actually. You can cheat. You can cheat. You can do whatever you want, but only official documentation, not my notes and all, your notes and all. No, only anything related to the Kubernetes official documents, you can access it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You want the problem is like a time. You will have so much of questions and very limited time. So if you are not gone in the exam with the practice, then you definitely don't care. 70% is a percentage, is a passing marks.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Any other questions which you have right now? I'm going to stop the recordings.
Thanks for watching. To watch our complete session, enroll for our premium membership. Click onto the join button and enroll yourself with the best suited option.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Want to study further? Subscribe to our paid membership to get a deep dive into each and every topic. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to our DevOps School channel and hit the bell icon to learn more. Keep learning.